Most people think investing is about understanding the market, but the truth is, the biggest risk isn't the economy or interest rates. The biggest risk to your money is you. Your own mind is the biggest obstacle to long-term wealth. The psychology of money. Investing isn't just about numbers or strategy. You can read all the books, follow every chart, and still lose money if you can't control your emotions. That's the part most people ignore. They assume that if they learn enough, they'll make smart decisions. But even smart people make bad moves when fear or greed takes over. Think about it. When the market is booming, people feel excited. They buy in without thinking. When the market crashes, they panic and sell. This behavior is common. It's human nature, but it leads to terrible results. You buy high, you sell low, and your portfolio pays the price. Morgan Housel's book, The Psychology of Money, focuses exactly on this. He says the most important part of financial success isn't your IQ, it's your behavior. A calm investor with average knowledge can outperform a smart investor who reacts emotionally. That means learning to manage your emotions is more valuable than any market tip. Housel also explains that staying rich requires different habits than getting rich. Some people grow their money by taking big risks, but those same risks can wipe them out if they keep doing it. To stay rich, you need discipline, patience, and a willingness to say no to temptation. It's not exciting, but it works. Another big idea from the book is that we all see money through our own personal experiences. If you grew up during a recession, you might be more cautious. If your only experience is a growing market, you might be overconfident. These past experiences shape how you view risk, debt, and savings, and that creates blind spots. You might think your approach is logical, but really, it's emotional. So, understanding your background and how it affects your choices is a big part of becoming a better investor. Cognitive biases that hurt investors. Daniel Kahneman, a Nobel Prize winner in economics, goes even deeper into our psychology and thinking fast and slow. He explains that we all have two systems in our brains. System 1 is fast and automatic. It reacts without much thinking. System 2 is slower and more careful. It analyzes before making a choice. Most of the time, we rely on System 1, especially when we feel pressure. The problem is, this system is where most of our mental shortcuts and emotional mistakes come from. In investing, that's dangerous. Let's say the market suddenly drops 10%. Your brain reacts, you feel nervous, you want to sell before it drops more. That's System 1 kicking in. But System 2 might look at the history of the market and realize that drops are normal, that selling now would lock in your losses. The challenge is that most people don't stop long enough to activate System 2, so they react quickly, and those quick reactions often lead to poor outcomes. This is where cognitive biases come in. These are thinking errors that affect how we make decisions. One of the biggest is loss aversion. People feel the pain of losing money much more than the pleasure of gaining it, so they'll avoid risk, even when the odds are in their favor. Over time, that keeps them from reaching their goals. Another common bias is overconfidence. People think they know more than they do. They believe they can time the market or pick the perfect stock. But data shows that even experts fail to beat simple index funds. When people get overconfident, they tend to take bigger risks without fully understanding them. That leads to trouble. These are natural brain shortcuts, but if you don't learn to spot them, they can ruin your returns. Be greedy when others are fearful. Buffett says you should be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Most people do the opposite. They get excited when prices are rising. They buy in at the top. When the market crashes, they panic and sell. But the smart move is usually the opposite. When fear is everywhere, prices drop below their true value. That's usually the best time to invest. And when everyone's bragging about how much money they're making, that's usually the time to be careful. Buffett's advice works because it goes against the emotional waves that most people follow. Time in the market beats timing the market. A lot of investors think they can predict when to buy and when to sell. They try to wait for the perfect dip, or they get out at the first sign of trouble. But over the long term, this usually doesn't work. Even professionals fail at this. Markets are unpredictable. Big gains often happen in short bursts. If you miss just a few of those days, your returns can drop a lot. That's why staying in the market over time beats jumping in and out. There's also the power of compounding to think about. This is when your money earns returns, and then those returns earn more returns. It might not look impressive at first, But over the years, it becomes massive. The earlier you start and the longer you stay invested, the more this effect grows. But the key is, you have to leave your money alone. If you keep pulling it out, you interrupt the compounding process. You're basically resetting the clock each time. That's why having patience is so important. Separating luck from skill. Housel also warns us not to mix up luck with skill. If someone makes a lot of money, people assume they're a genius. But sometimes, they just got lucky. They were in the right place at the right time. That doesn't mean their choices were smart. And the reverse is also true. Someone might lose money even if they made a good, careful decision. Timing matters. But we often judge results too quickly. This creates problems. People copy what worked for someone else without knowing the full story. Or they give up on a smart plan just because it hasn't paid off yet. Recognizing the role of luck helps keep your ego in check. It reminds you not to get too confident when things go well, or too discouraged when they don't. How to build a rational investor mindset. So, what does a good investor mindset actually look like? It means thinking long-term, not days or months, but years. It means staying consistent, even when the market is noisy. You set a plan and you stick with it. You don't panic when prices fall, and you don't chase trends when they rise. You avoid risky bets that could wipe you out, even if they seem exciting. You stay calm when others are emotional. You understand that money isn't just math, it's also psychology. And mastering your own reactions is what gives you an edge. It also means understanding your goals and risk tolerance. You don't need to copy what others are doing. Maybe you don't care about beating the market. Maybe you just want steady growth that lets you retire comfortably. That's fine. The best plan is the one that matches your values and helps you sleep at night. Over time, small, smart choices lead to big results. It's not about being perfect. It's about avoiding big mistakes and sticking with the plan. Most people don't lose money because they picked the wrong stock. They lose money because they couldn't handle the pressure and made emotional decisions. They bailed out at the worst time or chased the wrong thing at the wrong moment. If you can manage your behavior, you'll already be ahead of most investors. At the end of the day, the market will always go up and down. News will always create fear. There will always be someone telling you to buy or sell. You can't control that, but you can control how you react. And that's what separates the average from the wealthy. If you're ready to start building lasting wealth, check out The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel and Thinking, Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman using the Amazon links in the description. It helps support the channel, and more importantly, it might be the best investment you make all year. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep growing, keep learning, and take control of your future.